Once upon a time in a galaxy far, far away, I was injected with esports. Now I've transferred to this dimension to take over the world with my super esports power of reporting dismal news. This is Week in Esports. I'm Brian LuBu Smalley, and we're going to go over the week in esports. This week in particular was not a great week. It wasn't a fun week, and it wasn't an upbeat week. It was just kind of, what's the word? A shit show. It was a shit show. In the Overwatch League, Taimu was brought up on allegations of homophobic slurs on his stream. And I say allegations because that's like a legal term. He definitely did it. We have video footage that ESPN has put up, and it was sent to Blizzard. And Blizzard, refused to respond to it. And he hasn't been punished officially by the Owl. And so that's fun. Not really. It's terrible. But this is what you expect when you put your team in the same city that the Cowboys are from, I guess. That's a real sports joke. You probably don't get it. Either way, Blizzard not great at handling reports of toxicity ever. And so I assume that this whole Taimu situation will go the same way as StarCraft Ghosts, in that we'll never hear about it again, and Blizzard will deny that it ever happened. In the EU LCS, things happen. Stuff happened. Nobody watches it. Nobody talks about it. I was tweeting about it over the weekend, and 0 responses. So that was a lot of fun. Giants and G2 Esports holding domain over the concept of the Clown Fiesta felt like games were too easy to just win at 45 minutes. So they each took turns pushing to the enemy inhibitors and then just fucking up. Shitting the bed. Doing whatever it is that they wanted to do. It's the EU. I'm not here to kink shame. Moving on to a late capitalism story, Capcom Pro Tour has decided that smaller tournament events will be worth less points, meaning that people who attend these smaller events, your locals, your stoop kids, people who aren't rich enough to fly to Japan every year, will get less points into the Capcom Pro Tour than those who are already established players who play at every large tournament in the tour. This has enraged the people who aren't big esports money people who still want a chance to get in. There is no AAA league for Crapcom. Keep that in. There is no AAA league for Crapcom Pro Tour. I love that. But so these kids have no way to play outside of these tournaments. Making their points less valuable is like the oligarchy system of esports. You take all of the money and points away from the poor kids who are just trying to get in, who are trying to jump in, and people trying to get to that point, and you say your contribution's not as good. You might be very good at this game, but you didn't play Third Strike 10 years ago, and so you don't count as much. It's a really shitty thing for Capcom to do. It's a really garbage idea for the Pro Tour, and hopefully it gets canceled. If nothing else, Capcom still has Monster Hunter, and I guess they're just going to ride that one out on the corpses of their fighting game franchises, like a vampire surfing on human detritus. Finally, we're going to wrap it up with some Smash 4 noise. This is a good one. Smash 4 continues to have a Bayonetta problem in that young men can't deal with a woman in power. Bayonetta continues to dominate the scene using mechanics that are pretty commonplace in almost every fighting game except for Smash. Counters and things of that nature. Smash players, adapt, get over it. That's how the game works. If you don't like it, go play something else. There's going to be a new Smash in 2 years. Nintendo puts these things out on a set schedule, and you're not going to play anything but Melee anyway, and that's what's going to get all the viewership. I appreciate that Smash 4 players are mad that Bayonetta is strong, but Diddy is strong and they don't make the same complaints. They did back in the day, but Diddy's still top tier, so I don't know. You're just upset that Bayonetta is good, and that if you're a silver player, you can't deal with it. In most video game circles, that's called like a Darius problem or an Axe problem if you're a Dota player. If you're below a certain skill level, certain characters just murder you, and the only way that you can get over that is to get good.com. So, from everyone at Week in Esports, I hope you get good.com. Smash for that like button, subscribe, and we will see you for next week's Week in Esports.